Martell responding to the latest restraining order rumors has once again pulled attention back to a situation that many people thought had already been fully understood. But instead of things being clear, this situation is becoming even more confusing. What started as a simple post on social media quickly turned into a full discussion, with people questioning what is true, what is old information, and what is actually happening right now. The main issue here is not just the rumor itself, it is the reaction that followed. When reports started spreading that a new restraining order had been placed, people immediately reacted. Some believed it right away, others questioned it. But what really made the situation stand out was Martell's response. He did not stay silent. He went directly into the comments and strongly denied everything. He said clearly that there is no restraining order and that all communication has already been moved to a monitored platform. According to him, there are no issues, no court problems, and no reason for these rumors to continue. His response was direct, strong, and written in a way that showed frustration. It was clear that he wanted people to stop believing what was being said. But even with that response, the conversation did not stop. In fact, it grew even more. Because once something like this is brought up, people start looking at the past. They start connecting different events. They start asking questions about what has happened before and whether those past situations have any connection to what is being said now. This is where things start to get more complicated, because this is not the first time that Martell has been connected to serious claims. There was a previous situation involving harassment that became public. It was reported, discussed, and eventually led to legal consequences. That part is important because it adds context. In that earlier situation, there were charges related to communication that crossed a line. It was not just rumors, it became an official case. And in the end, Martell did plead guilty to a lesser charge. That detail matters because it shows that there was a real situation that had legal weight. So now, when new claims start to appear, people do not look at them in isolation. They connect them to what has already happened. They ask whether this is a continuation of the same pattern or something completely different.
At the same time, there is also confusion around the terms being used. Many people are mixing up the idea of a restraining order with a no-contact order. These two things may sound similar, but they are not exactly the same, and that difference is very important in this situation. A restraining order usually requires a formal process. It often involves a hearing where both sides have the opportunity to present their case. It is not something that is simply given without review. A no-contact order, on the other hand, can sometimes be part of a court decision in an existing case. It can be placed to prevent communication without going through the full process of a restraining order. This is where a lot of misunderstanding seems to be coming from. In the past, there were court documents that mentioned a no-contact order. Many people saw that and assumed it was the same as a restraining order. That assumption spread quickly, and over time it became something that people repeated without checking the details. Melody herself had addressed this before. She made it clear that there was no restraining order in place at that time. She even explained that she had tried to get one but was not successful. That is a very important detail because it shows that not everything people believe is always accurate. Now, with these new rumors, the same confusion is happening again. People are hearing the word restraining order and reacting immediately, without always looking at the full context. And that is why Martell's response is focused on denying that specific claim. He also mentioned that all communication has been moved to a platform that records everything. This is another important detail. Platforms like that are often used in situations where communication needs to be monitored. It creates a record, it makes everything transparent, and it can be used in court if needed. By saying that he moved all communication there, Martell is trying to show that there is structure and control in place. He is suggesting that if anything inappropriate were happening, it would be visible and documented. This is his way of defending himself against the claims. But even with that explanation, questions remain. Because people are not just looking at what is being said now, they are also looking at behavior over time. They are asking whether this step was taken recently or if it has been in place for a while. They are asking what led to this decision. Another important part of this situation is public perception. Once someone is connected to a serious issue, it becomes difficult to separate them from that image. Even if new claims are not proven, the past still affects how people react. That is what we are seeing here. Some people are willing to believe the rumors because of what has happened before. Others are willing to accept Martell's explanation because they believe there is not enough proof of a new issue. This creates a divide in opinion. There is also the role of social media in all of this. Information spreads very quickly. A single post can reach thousands of people in a short time, and once it starts spreading, it becomes very hard to control. Even if something is not confirmed, it can still gain attention. People share it, comment on it, and discuss it. And by the time a response comes out, the story has already taken on a life of its own. That is exactly what happened here. A post was made, it was seen by many people. Reactions started immediately, and then Martell responded. But by that point, the conversation was already active. Another layer to this situation is how people interpret responses. Some see Martell's strong denial as confidence. Others see it as frustration. Some may even question why he responded so strongly if there was nothing to worry about. This shows how complex public reactions can be. The same statement can be seen in different ways depending on who is reading it, and that adds even more uncertainty to the situation. At the same time, Melody's role in this cannot be ignored. She has addressed similar issues in the past. She has clarified certain claims, and she has shared her own experiences. That history plays a role in how people view the current situation. If there were to be a new legal step taken, it would likely involve a clear process. There would be documentation, there would be a hearing, and there would be records that could be verified. So far, none of that has been clearly presented in relation to these new rumors.
That is why this situation remains in a space of uncertainty. There are claims, there are denials, and there are past events that add context, but there is not a clear, confirmed answer that settles everything. As this continues, the focus shifts to what happens next. Will there be any official confirmation of a new order? Will more information come out? Or will this situation slowly fade as attention moves to something else? Another important point to consider is how situations like this affect everyone involved. It is not just about public image, it is about personal lives, relationships, and responsibilities. These are serious matters that go beyond online discussions. If there are real issues, they need to be handled through the proper channels. And if there are misunderstandings, they need to be clarified clearly. Because without clarity, confusion continues. Right now, what we are seeing is a mix of both. There are past facts, current claims, and strong reactions, and all of these elements are coming together in a way that keeps the conversation going. As viewers, people are trying to make sense of it all. They are looking at what has been said, what has been done, and what is still unknown. And until there is a clear answer, the discussion will continue. This situation shows how quickly things can become complicated when past events, current rumors, and public reactions all come together. It is not just about one statement or one response. It is about the full picture. And right now, that picture is still forming. As this situation continues to develop, there is another important point that needs to be understood, and that is how repeated situations begin to shape a person's public image over time. When something happens once, people may see it as a mistake. When it happens more than once, or when similar conversations keep coming up, people begin to look at it as a pattern. And once something is seen as a pattern, it becomes much harder to separate truth from assumption. In this case, even though Martell has clearly denied the latest restraining order claims, the fact that his name has been connected to legal issues before makes people question everything more deeply. It creates a situation where even unconfirmed reports feel believable to some viewers. That is the power of past events. They stay in people's minds and influence how new information is received. At the same time, it is important to recognize that not everything being said online is always accurate. Social media moves fast, and information is often shared before it is verified. A single post can turn into a full story within minutes, and by the time facts are checked, many people have already formed an opinion. That is why situations like this become so complicated. There is a mix of truth, confusion, and assumption all happening at once. Martell's decision to respond directly in the comments is also something that stands out. Not everyone chooses to address rumors publicly, especially in such a direct way. Some people prefer to stay silent and let things pass. Others choose to speak up immediately. In this case, Martell chose to respond quickly and strongly, which shows that he is aware of how serious these claims can be. By saying that all communication has been moved to a monitored platform, he is trying to show that there is structure and control in place. This kind of platform is often used in situations where communication needs to be documented. It creates a record that can be reviewed if needed. It also limits direct contact, which can reduce conflict. So, from his perspective, this is a way of showing that he is following a system that keeps things in order. However, even with that explanation, people still have questions. Some may wonder why that step was taken in the first place. Was it required by the court? Was it a personal decision? Was it a response to past issues? These are the kinds of questions that naturally come up, especially when there is already a history involved. Another thing that keeps this conversation going is the difference between what is legally confirmed